So today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the golf shot, the fundamentals of golf, and how to become a better golfer. In the corporate world, you'll always be invited to corporate golf outings and tournaments, things like that. You might also just invite clients out for a round of golf, just to win over their business, try to win those contracts and whatnot. So golf is a very big thing in the corporate world. It's the #1 place golf is, or business is conducted outside of the office. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what all the clubs do and just the basic fundamentals of the golf swing and how to just become a good golfer. The first thing to start off with is the clubs. All the clubs have different purposes, so it's important to know what they each do. You have your woods, which are used off the tee shots, long distance shots outside the green. Basically you'll be hitting woods from about 200 yards and further from the green. They usually hit the ball a little bit lower trajectory, but like I said, they're longer and give you more momentum to allow you to hit the ball a little bit farther. The next portion of clubs in your bag are the irons. The irons range from the 3-iron to the 9-iron. 3-iron having a little bit more upright face. It's meant to hit the ball a little bit farther from about 200 yards outside the green. Then the 9-iron is got a little bit more angled face, and it is used about 150 yards out. So basically, the higher the number of the iron, the shorter the distance, and more trajectory you'll get off that club. Then we have our wedges. The wedges are basically just another iron, only they're shorter and have even more angled face. These are used from about 100 yards out on in around the green. They're used for more delicate shots, give you a lot more trajectory and just a little bit more feel on the ball, so you can perform those shots that are around the green. Then lastly, we have the putter, which is pretty obvious. We all know what a putter is. It's just used on the green, and this is really where you make up your scores with the putter. So we'll start off just by talking about what the most important factors of golf are and how to get your good scores. The first is obvious: practice. Practice, they say, makes perfect. In golf, perfect is almost unachievable. It's hard to be perfect in golf, but you can always lower your scores. When you first start out, you're going to be shooting hundreds or above hundreds, but with practice, you can really narrow that down. You'll see your scores start to chop lower and lower the more you practice. The goal is to eventually be in the 70s. That's a top-notch golfer in the 70s. So always practice. You can take lessons. Lessons can be out of your local driving range. They're usually pretty cheap, $25 on up. And just one lesson always makes a huge difference. They can pull up your swing on the computer and look at the different things that you're doing wrong and give you advice and all that stuff. And then also the driving range. Just hit the driving range a couple times a month and just hit some balls, and you'll get better and better. You'll just automatically get the feel for what to do right and what to do wrong. The other thing, the best advice I can give you is to master the short game. Everybody wants to hit the ball off the tee and see the ball go 300 yards and see how far they can hit it. That's all fun. But on average, you might hit your drivers off the tee 18 times, and if you're shooting 100, that leaves about 80 more shots that aren't coming off the tee box. And that is all part of your short game. Your chip shots, your putting, that is where you'll have the majority of your strokes. So the better you are at the short game, the lower your strokes will become. So now we'll go to the fundamentals of the swing, talk a little bit about what is necessary to hit a proper golf shot, and we'll start off with the stance. With any sport, whatever it is, stance is always important. You want to have good balance, you want to have good posture, and just have an athletic stance to where you're balanced, you're not falling away from the ball or falling off the ball. So proper stance just starts off pretty much with your feet being about shoulder width apart. You want your weight to be on the pads of your feet so that you're balanced. You don't want your weight too far back, or you're falling backwards, or on your toes, you're falling forward. So keep your feet balanced, keep them about shoulder width apart. And you want your knees slightly bent. Just have good balance. That's most important. On tee shots where you're swinging a little bit harder, you might want to have a little bit wider stance, be a little bit even more balanced, and just allows you to generate more power. The second thing is your posture, your back. You want your back, you don't want to be rounded over or hunched over. That's a common mistake with a lot of golfers. So you want your back to be straight. That keeps you from just really getting the club out of position. Keep your back straight, allows you to turn your shoulders just how they're supposed to turn and not dip down or lean too far back. So have good balance, have your knees bent and back straight, but bent over just a little bit. The next thing is your grip. You want a good grip, which starts basically with one general tip that most pros give beginning golfers. When you grab the club, you'll see a V between your index finger and your thumb on both hands, and those V's should point towards your shoulder. If those V's are out of line, if your grip is way over here or it's way under here, it's going to allow the club face to get out of position and hit the ball way left or way right, way off target. So get that good grip. And another misconception is golfers always grip the club way too hard. They think that hard they grip, they can really pump up tight and swing hard, but that's not true. The lighter the grip, the more flow you have with the club, and actually will generate more club head speed because you're not all tensed up. So have a light grip, stay balanced, and in good posture, and address the ball. From there, we'll start the swing. The swing starts drawing back. You want to have a good tempo. You don't want to be fast. You don't want to jerk it back or jerk it way out of line or anything like that. So just stay in control. That's the key to golf, is stay in control and keep your body quiet. The other tip is keep your elbow tucked in. A lot of golfers will swing their elbows way out. It's called chicken winging it. When you do that, it allows the club to get off plane, out of line, and go all over the place. So keep your elbow tucked in, keep your body aligned and balanced, and continue to bring it back. When we're bringing the club up, you're gonna you want to see the club face pointing straight upwards once it's about at your hips, and that's the key position. If it's too far over or too far back, that means you're out of line. So first step, keep that club face pointed up at the sky, and then continue on back. When you get to the top of your backswing, the club should be pointing right down your target line. So make sure that your club is pointing right down your target line. That means you're in a good position. Keep that elbow tucked in as much as possible. When you start the downswing, try to keep that same position as when you're coming up. Keep that elbow in, keep that face pointing up at the sky, and drop it down. And don't jerk anything, just let the club do the work. If you let the club do the work, it's going to fall in the right position. So smooth back, smooth down through, and you want to make sure that your weight is shifting correctly. With anything, whenever you're swinging a baseball bat or anything, power is generated from twisting your hips and shifting your weight. So you want to get a proper weight shift. When you're coming down, you should be moving your weight onto your front foot. When you're going back, your weight shifts backwards. That's where your power is generated. And when you're coming through, you push over onto your front foot and shift your weight over that direction. And the plane of the golf club is the same going through as it is going back. Only opposite. Your left arm now will stay close to your body. Keep your elbow tucked in, and the club face should once again point directly at the sky, but the face is pointing the opposite direction. So it's the same thing. Point up through, and then just wrap around. And when you finish, your balance should all be on your left foot. If you're right-handed, opposite if you're left-handed. So those are the keys. Those are the techniques involved. And like I said, the main thing is just to stay balanced. Stay light on your feet and light with your hands and your arms. Just if you keep everything in control and keep everything smooth, you're going to have a much better golf shot than if you're trying to just kill the ball. That's where all your problems really start off. So just try those things, get some practice in, and you'll start to see your scores dwindle down.